Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today we're going to be talking about the new ATF activist slash director, Steve Dettelbach. This is the first time the ATF has had a permanent director since 2015. So what does this mean for us? Let's go ahead and get to it. Now, before we get started, I want to thank the main sponsor of this video, which is Gunspot. Absolutely the coolest new website you guys are going to find out there. They sell everything Second Amendment related. Some of this stuff is going to come in at prices you just won't find anywhere else. They also have, as part of their site, auctions, so you can find things for even less than you would find them new. You can also buy new at the auction, so there's a lot of different stuff to see there. They have stuff like the War Room and Battle Station. They have the Academy. You can learn things. They have videos and blogs, and really, it's an all-encompassing experience, so definitely check out Gunspot. Okay, so let's go and start off with this. Who is Steve Dettelbach, the new ATF director? Well, he's an activist, to put it simply. He is an activist like Everytown and Mom's Demand. We know this because of his platform that he ran on for the Attorney General of the state of Ohio. As part of his platform, one of the things that he wanted to do was ban a certain class of arms. He didn't like the features, he didn't like the characteristics, he didn't like things about it, so he didn't think that anybody should be able to own one. So he promoted that, he ran on it, it was part of his platform, and partially the reason why he lost. So this guy loses his bid to be the Attorney General of the state of Ohio, but somehow has the qualifications to become the director of one of the most overreaching and ambitious bureaucracies in our entire government. Now, the ATF has not been around for that long. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even created until the early 70s when it became a branch of the Department of Treasury. Now, there's nothing in its purview at this point in time that the FBI doesn't already cover. But politicians think that it should, and so it does. Now, their original scope was very small. Their mission was small. It was simply enforce the laws that are already on the books that fall under their control. Now, over time, just like every other bureaucracy, it becomes bloated, and their mission changes. It becomes more diluted, and you're not exactly sure what's covered here, what's covered there, which agency is overlapping the other, and so forth, to the point where nowadays their mission is so broad that they actually take it upon themselves to create laws that didn't exist in the past. Congress is the only body that is supposed to create law. So Congress creates law, law enforcement enforces that, and so forth. But what the ATF has decided to do over the years is take the laws that were passed by Congress, reinterpret those laws, come up with their own opinion, and then use the opinion as an enforceable new law. And that affects millions of people across this country. So what happens when you take an agency like that and you put an activist at the head? I'll give you a second to think about it. If you want to take a guess, you can always leave a comment. So what it basically means is that agency is going to be an activist agency, but let's not kid ourselves. It always was. There's not a time in my life that I remember where it wasn't. So not much really is going to change. I personally look back at all of the opinions, all of the letters, all of the different things that they've changed over the past several decades, and all of this stuff happened prior to him ever taking his seat. Now, there is a chance that it might increase threefold, and we might see more of these opinions and more of these drafts and more of these letters go out and more enforcement and stuff like that. That's absolutely a possibility. But thankfully, we at least have one thing now to rely on, one thing that's on our side that we did not have before. So just prior to him actually being confirmed as the new director, there was an EPA case that was heard by the Supreme Court, which sort of reins in agencies and bureaucracies and says you can't make these broad sweeping changes that affect millions of people or take the law abiding and make them otherwise. You can't do these things as a whole. And so if the ATF comes out with an opinion and says that this opinion is now going to be enforceable on this specific date, that EPA case that was heard by the Supreme Court gives us a leg to stand on in order to stop it. So again, that case kind of reins in some of these agencies' power and overreaching power that they've exercised on the entire country in the past. I'm sure you guys have heard about that EPA case. It was pretty major, but still that case is going to be relevant to just about every other agency in the government. So while it's terrible that he is the new director, I would like to see somebody who is, more a constitutionalist, right? Somebody who believes in the Constitution. They look at the way that's written, they look at the text, they look at the history, and look at the way that things were intended to be. Look at the way that the founders intended things to be. But we didn't. We got Dettelbach. And now Dettelbach is going to take that agency in a direction that I think most of us don't really even quite understand yet. But it's not going to be in a good direction. That's the biggest takeaway, is that it's not going to be in a good direction. And it means that you're probably going to see a lot more opinions, opinions that we're going to have to eventually take to court. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But either way, it's not a good thing at all. And so, we'll just have to take it day by day and step by step, and we'll see what happens. But there's plenty of groups out there that are willing to fight on our behalf, like the FBC and GOA and others. So make sure you become a member of those groups. That's always one of the most helpful things that you can do for our rights. So anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.